These days, Old Trafford rarely has a quiet moment. But for the first time, a transfer window has passed without many incidents. Of course, Man United is in the process of transition, and Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos executives are also waiting for the time to officially take control of football activities. That change has been reflected in MU's limited transfer transactions over the past month. Even the departure of fringe players on loan needs to be approved by the new regime, as part of a pre-agreed transfer plan. Despite this calmness, MU made a major change last month by appointing Omar Barada, who will have influence over the transfer, and this is part of the reform structure. What did MU do in January? Their activities are limited to the loan of a few players, most notably Jadon Sancho. Dortmund signed a 6-month loan contract with Sancho, worth a minimum of €3.5 million, and paid most of Sancho's salary. In addition to Sancho, a number of other MU players will also spend the next 4 months at other clubs with the goal of getting good results in the next summer transfer period. Frankfurt will likely buy Donny van de Beek for €11 million, while Hannibal Mejbri and Alvaro Fernandez could join Sevilla and Benfica for €20 million and €9 million. Facundo Pellistri was loaned to Granada, according to a contract that did not include the right to buy outright. Young talents like Dan Gore and Joe Hugill also joined Port Vale and Burton Albion of League One on loan, respectively. In the opposite direction, the addition of a short-term option in attack in January, like previous deals with Odion Igalo and Wout Weghorst, failed, because Man United could not convince both targets including Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting and Timo Werner. Last week, Coach Ten Hag stated that MU's inability to spend or even borrow players is due to the risk of violating the Profit and Sustainability Rules, PSR, UEFA's financial fairness law. Selling players will create room for MU to buy people, but no player in the first team wants to leave. In the end, they only pushed striker Mateo Mejia to Sevilla, and sold attacking midfielder Isaac Hansen-Aroen to Bremen. But how does Ten Hag feel about the club's transfer situation? This coach always said that MU must invest in the squad to improve performance, but he was not surprised when the club lay dormant in January. Ten Hag hopes MU has more opportunities to strengthen in the summer market, but due to Ratcliffe's appearance, he will have less influence on transactions than in the previous period. Although Ineos has committed to modernizing MU's internal structure, recruitment responsibility is placed within the executive functions of the coach. So what will Man United need to prioritize this summer? Obviously, they will need another striker to ease the scoring burden on Rasmus Højlund. The Danish striker is only 21 years old and inexperienced, so the ideal solution is for MU to bring in a mature, classy striker. Ten Hag is very fond of Ajax's Brian Brobby, even though this striker has just turned 22. In addition, MU is also monitoring Brentford's Ivan Toney, who has just finished his suspension for betting. In addition, MU is also in need of a midfielder because of the uncertain future of Raphael Varane, who will turn 31 at the end of the season, and because Harry Maguire may be sold. They are currently targeting Jean-Claire Todibo, the 24-year-old midfielder of Nice Club, which is owned by Ineos. However, plans for the final summer market will revolve around two main factors: MU's ability to comply with spending regulations, and the restructuring of Ineos football operations. Following the appointment of Barada as chief executive, attention turned to the role of sporting director. Newcastle technical director Dan Ashworth has been contacted for the sporting director position. But recently, there was information that Ashworth will still stick with St. James Park. Other potential candidates considered by Ineos include Paul Mitchell, former sporting director of Monaco, Julian Ward, former sporting director of Liverpool, Dougie Freedman, sports director of Crystal Palace, and Andrea Berta. Whoever is in charge of MU's football operations come summer will face a tight budget, due to PSR's limitations and years of previous big spending. MU can use some of the £237 million investment included in Ratcliffe's deal to offset PSR's losses, with £163 million due to be paid out in the coming weeks, and the remainder due by the end of the year. This money has been earmarked, but not limited, for the redevelopment of Old Trafford. and would fit the Premier League's definition of funding that could be used to cover losses of up to £105 million. However, it would not be surprising if the size of MU's summer shopping budget depends on the amount of money they can earn through selling surplus players. So who is likely to leave? Like Martial, MU also decided not to activate the one-year extension clause in Varany's contract, allowing the defender to leave as a free agent. Varane can stay at Old Trafford for another 2 years if he accepts a salary cut, about £250,000 a week. Casemiro is also earning a very high salary, £350,000 per week, but with a contract valid until the summer of 2026, this midfielder can bring in a transfer fee. He has been linked to Saudi Arabian football teams for a long time, and this could be Casemiro's most promising landing spot. MU leaders actually also went to Saudi Arabia in December 2023 to discuss the transfer of Casemiro, Varane, Martial and Sancho. Finally, Ineos will also have to make a decision on Mason Greenwood, who is on loan to Getafe. MU's view is that lending is the premise for a permanent sale.